We will see how to use Audacity, the most simple and easy software for audio recording and editing. Professional voiceover artists and podcasters use this software. Even people use this for editing audio of their YouTube videos. We will see how to record audio in Audacity, open existing audio files in Audacity, and finally, edit those audio files. After opening Audacity, you will see this screen. If you are new to audio editing or video editing, you may feel lots of things on the screen. But it will be straightforward to navigate after knowing what these tools do. If you mouse hover on different tools, a tooltip will appear to indicate its use. For example, here it shows the current recording device, and it is set as the built-in microphone. Take the cursor over the red button and the tooltip shows it is the button for recording. Before starting to record, you have to set a couple of things. First, select a microphone to record. You will get the list of microphones attached to your computer. If you attach the microphone after opening Audacity, the microphone will not be on the list. In such a case, go to Transport, then rescan audio devices. I will select the Samsung microphone for recording. After selecting the microphone, choose the recording channel. It can be either mono or stereo. My Samsung mic only shows the mono option, but another microphone will show both. For example, if I switch to the built-in microphone, both mono and stereo option is available. For voiceover, podcasts, and YouTube videos, mono recording works fine. Then you can choose your output device for playback. You can also monitor your audio during recording through this device. To be able to do that, you have to turn on the software playthrough option. Currently, this playthrough is off, so no tick mark beside it. I will click to enable this. If I check again, you see the playthrough is active as a tick mark is beside it. I do not want to monitor audio during recording, so we'll turn it off by clicking again. Next, you have to adjust the recording volume. Some microphone or interface like Scarlett 2i2 has a volume knob. If you are using such a device for recording, then you have to adjust both in microphone and here. Normally we had to boost in post-production, so set this to highest and see how louder your sound is. The monitoring meter will show your recording level, and you should target to get at least -24 here. It would be an ideal recording if you get past -18 and around -12. During recording, the monitoring meter should never reach 0, otherwise, you will get clipping. Playback volume is the sound level control for your device when you play the recording. We are almost ready for recording, just have to set the project rate. At the bottom left, you will find the list of different project rates. Project rate determines how much detailed data to store for your audio. You can think of it as similar to the resolution of a video. The higher the project rate will be, the more space it will take for a recording. For voiceover and podcasts, 44.1K or 48K is fine. MP3 files use 44.1K, and you know how amazing sound quality you get with that. If you want to use a higher project rate, your sound card has to be able to process those details. Otherwise, it will take just more space without any benefits. In short, you do not need to use more than 48K unless you explicitly know why you need that. I will choose 48K, and let's now record something. Click on the red record button and the recording started. You can see my recording sound level in the meter, and it is hitting -18 most of the time. It is important to understand this meter for recording, and I will get back to it soon. To stop recording, click the stop button. So you see the timeline here, and you see the recording in the waveform. You will edit this waveform for various sound effects. Before proceeding further, it would be a good idea to save the project. To save the project, click on the file, then save the project. Please note, saving an Audacity project and exporting an audio file is not the same thing. After saving this project, you can edit the file in Audacity only. To get an actual playable audio file, you have to export, and I will show that a bit later. I will save it as a test project, and you see the file type is OP3. So I have successfully saved the project. Let's now listen to what I have recorded. To listen from a particular time, click on the timeline and then press space to play. You can also use this play icon. I want to play from this 1 second, so I clicked here and a black vertical line appears. This line is called the playhead and will move as the audio is being played. Let's listen.
In this channel, I discuss about audio editing, video editing, and use of some softwares.
You may have noticed this playback meter when I played the audio. This meter shows you the loudness of the audio and is a great help to get desired sound level. I will get back to this topic soon. For the first few seconds, this audio has only noise. You can understand just by seeing the timeline. Here you see some small dots here, and there is this flat line. You can select any part in the timeline just by dragging. The waveforms are more visible when I had started talking. This visual guide makes the editing process easy as you learn more about Audacity. Audacity supports the common copy, paste, or delete methods of any standard editor. For example, if you want to delete any part, just select it and hit the delete button on your keyboard. On top of this timeline, you see Audio Track 1. This label is helpful when you will be working with multiple tracks. You can double-click on the label and edit those labels. This label editing feature is available with Audacity 3.1. So if you are using an older version of Audacity, you will not see this. There is another function of this area. Notice when I take the mouse to this area, it changes to a hand icon. With this hand icon, you can shift this track to the right or left. If you take this to left too far, an arrow will appear at 0 seconds. This means there is some audio beyond 0 seconds. With proper adjustment, that icon will disappear. You can adjust the height of this timeline by dragging. With the increase in height, the noise dots can be more visible. From View, Track Size in the menu you can select Fit to Height. That will make the track height fill all the available space. The purpose of software like Audacity is not to just record audio. Its main benefit is its audio editing capability. For example, the noise you see here can be reduced using Audacity. You can do this by using an effect called noise reduction. To apply effect, you have to either select some part or the whole audio clip. You can select any part of the audio just by dragging. To select the whole track, double-click inside the track. Or click the Select button in this track information panel. You can see all the available effects from the Effect menu. These effects are Audacity built-in effects and can be used to enhance your audio quality. If you practice with any audio effects couple of times, you will be comfortable using that. Let's see briefly how to use effects like noise reduction. For this, audio noise reduction is needed as it has lots of noise. You have to select a noise-only part from the track. I have selected from the beginning, but it can be from anywhere on the track. After selecting a noise-only part, go to Effect Noise Reduction. This is the noise reduction configuration pop-up, and different effects have different kinds of settings. First, you have to click on Get Noise Profile, and Audacity will understand what kind of noise this audio has. Now you have to select the whole audio, and go to Noise Reduction again. Before doing that, let's see the playback meter for only noise. So it is -42 and also touching -36. Select the whole track by double-clicking and go to Noise Reduction again. In Step 2 you have to configure noise reduction settings. As this is a Get Started tutorial, I am not discussing thoroughly this configuration. Noise reduction slider sets how much noise you want to reduce. You can adjust the value from this slider. For every effect, you have to find an optimal configuration. Setting this noise reduction too much can destroy your audio quality, so I am just using the default. Sensitivity sets how aggressive the noise reduction will be. Frequency smoothing bands try to reduce the gaps in digital data after noise reduction. The default value is 3, but with a value other than 0, the voice sounds different. So I am using 0, but go through some detailed noise reduction tutorial to understand these settings. You can preview the audio to get a 6 seconds preview with current settings. Clicking OK will apply the effect on the audio. I will click OK, and the noise reduction is applied. You see the first part looks flatter than it was before. Look at the playback meter when I play this. You see the playback meter hitting -54 most of the time and -48 occasionally. So that is a good improvement. After reducing noise, you also have to check the voice or sound. Too aggressive noise reduction can destroy the audio, so you can be sure if it is affected by listening to it.
In this channel, I discuss about audio editing, video editing, and use of some softwares.
You may have noticed the recording volume is quite low. So how can we increase that? There are several ways, and one good way is to normalize. To normalize, select the whole track and go to Effect Normalize. This is the Normalize settings pop-up. The settings fields in Normalize are different from the fields we saw in Noise Reduction. These fields are based on what an effect does, so take some time to understand what an effect does at the beginning. Normalize is a volume control or gain control. Some hardware issues can lead to DC offset, which is rare nowadays. Keep it on, and it will do no harm. Peak amplitude sets the loudness of the loudest part of the audio. Sound level of every other part of the audio increases with respect to that. Default value is -1 and the maximum can be 0. You can see in the playback meter, the maximum value is 0. I will use -3, and this can be adjusted to find the best value by listening. As normalization is a gain control, notice the noise level is also raised. The solution to this can be to apply noise reduction after normalization. Let's listen to how much gain we have got after normalization.
In this channel, I discuss about audio editing, video editing, and use of some softwares.
So you see the volume is quite increased, and it is always hitting below -3 in the playback meter. I had set peak amplitude to -3, so it is not exceeding -3. You can undo this and normalize again with a different value if you need to. You can check your editing history in the current session from View History. If you close Audacity and open again, this editing history is lost. I hope in the future, Audacity team will resolve this history gone issue. You see the noise reduction is applied in this track as the arrow denotes, and the normalize became inactive as I had undo the change. You may be wondering how you can learn about these different effects at the beginning. You can go to any effect and check its documentation. For example, if you want to learn about compression, go to Compression. I have to select a part of the audio for this effect. Here are the settings for compression, and look at the bottom right. In every effect, you will get this help icon and click on it. You will be directed to an Audacity manual page on your computer, and you will get all the necessary details here. You will know what an effect does in general and how to configure different settings. If you want to go to a deeper level of learning, this can be the best resource. Let's now learn a bit about these toolbars, as many handy features are available through these. To silence any part of the audio, select it and click on this Silence Audio Selection tool. To keep only the selected part and remove other parts, click on Trim Audio Outside Selection tool. Positions of these toolbars can be changed easily. For example, if you use this Edit toolbar frequently, drag this to a suitable position. While you drag, a black marker will appear indicating its new position. Let's say I want to make this playback meter toolbar bigger. So I will reposition this mixer toolbar. Then, I can drag this monitoring toolbar to make it bigger. With a bigger monitoring meter, more detailed reading can be seen and may help in fine-tuning the audio. You can decide which tool to show or not to show from View Toolbars. If you want to reset toolbars to their original position, click on Reset Toolbars. Let's now see about this track information toolbar on the left. You can adjust or increase gain through this gain slider.
In this channel, I discuss about audio editing, video editing, and use of some software.
So you noticed how the volume increased as I had increased the gain. When you increase the gain from the gain slider, no change will be visible in the waveform. But if you export the audio after increasing gain, it will be exported with the increased gain. If you increase gain using normalize, which we saw earlier, the changes will be visible in the waveform. These solo and mute buttons are useful when you are editing multiple tracks. Solo means only keeping this track active while muting other tracks. To only mute this track, use the mute button. Knowing the small bits of the Audacity interface can help you to edit audio faster and effectively. You can also set the track name from here. I think this track renaming will be removed from future versions, as Audacity introduced this new track naming in 3.1. Currently, we are seeing the waveform in the timeline, but it can be set as a spectrogram. The spectrogram view shows the energy of audio in different frequencies through color. A brighter color means more energy and darker means less energy on those frequencies. The spectrogram view can be useful for those who are learning about audio frequency. You can also view both waveform and spectrogram from multi-view. For general editing purposes, the waveform is good enough, so I will switch back to it. You can collapse or uncollapse any track from this button. This playback speed slider will play the audio faster or slower if you adjust the playback speed. Audacity 3.1 introduced a new loop feature during playback. For example, I want to listen to this part of the audio in a loop. After selecting it, click the loop button. A black marker appears here to denote it's a loop. If I now play this,
and use up some softwares, 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 and use up.
So you see it is playing back in a loop. To get out from loopy playback, just toggle the loop button. One of the handy toolbars is this cursor selection toolbars. You can see the eye is in a pressed position, which means you will be able to select audio with the cursor. As I drag here, this portion is selected and this is the default behavior. Besides the selection tool, you will see the envelope tool. The envelope tool has created an envelope around the waveform in the timeline. Select any 2 points in the timeline and you can increase or decrease the sound level between those 2 points. This envelope tool is useful when you will be mixing voice and background music. For example, when there will be a voice, you would want to lower the background music to make the voice clear. If you need both selection and envelope tools at the same time, you can use this multi-tool. You will be able to select some audio and envelope audio at the same time. This zoom tool is for standard zoom into the timeline. You will find the zoom in and zoom out tools also here. In the beginning, zooming in may not seem very useful. But when you get some experience with audio editing, you will be able to spot some anomalies in the audio just by looking at the waveform. For example, sibilance or mouth clicks can be spotted in the waveform and can be removed by deleting it. In those situations, zooming in can help. I will show you one last tool in this video, and then we'll move to export audio. If you want to know which frequencies are contributing to a sound, select the audio and go to Analyze, Plot Spectrum. For example, for the selected part of the audio 200 Hz has the most energy, and almost no energy around 20 kHz. Frequency analysis may not be your thing, but good to know where it is, in case you need it. So we have covered lots of things, and now it's time to see how to export audio files. To export, go to File, Export. When you have multiple tracks, you can export multiple to export all at one go. For a single track, choose MP3 or WAV. I will choose MP3. Set the location where you want to save the exported file, and you also get some format options. I will keep the default and click Save. In this pop-up, you can add metadata like artist name, track title, etc. It is optional to give metadata and click OK when done. If I now go to the saved location, I can see the exported test project MP3 file. I will close this tutorial with how to open multiple tracks in the same Audacity window. To open the first track, you can either use Open or Import. After the first track, use Import to add another track in the Audacity window. Here I am using Open for the first track. To add another track, I will use Import. Now multiple tracks are open and I can start editing. To know about multi-track editing or other editing features, please check the cards on the screen. I have covered all the basics you need to know for audio editing as a beginner. I hope you get a nice experience in audio editing and see you in the next video. Till then, please check other videos in this channel or comment on what you think are missing.